Hey there, and welcome to this course on Villa-Lobos' Etude No.1. These etudes were written for Andres Segovia back in the day. They weren't published for a really long time, for many years after they were actually written, and they are bearish. They are really some good work. They're great for the hands. They're advanced level etudes. Even this #1, which is perhaps the easiest of the bunch, it still has its issues. So the way that we're going to look at this is the first page of the piece here. Well, this is a lot of stuff, and each page looks like this, right? If you'll notice, we just have a bar of music that is repeated. So we have repeats, repeats, repeats. We have a bar, and then we have this repeat sign, and there are just repeat signs all over the place, right? Every single measure of this song, except for a handful, are repeated. And so we have that. We also have a recurring pattern in the right hand. If you just look at the tab pattern, you can see it really easily here. You can see that it's the same pattern over and over. So instead of going bar by bar through this piece, what we're going to do is, I've given you some rather cheating ways of doing it. We're going to work with numbers, or if it's easier for you, grids. And so then you have the left hand shapes, which are what these, so that's within the grids or the numbers as well. These right here refer to the frets. So with these numbers, I'm just going to tell you right now, the first number is the 6th string fret. So for this particular one, it would be open. 2, 2, 2nd fret, open, open, open. So this ends up being an E minor is what this first chord is based on this. So this is the bar number on this side, fret numbers on this side. If you'll also notice on this particular piece of paper, this should just be your cheat sheet for this whole course, is this particular piece of paper. You have, if we just look at the structure of this, then we have this section right here, right? To this point, and then we go up really high. You can see from the high fret numbers, and we have this right here, slide previous chord down. This is the whole middle section of the piece right here, basically that section right there. Then we have a scale section, which is this part right here, this slur passage, scale slur passage, and then we come back with a bunch more chords to right here. These just go, that particular one is a little bit different. It just goes one chord each instead of the repeat. Then we have a harmonics passage and the ending. This is basically just the big finish. So these are our main sections of the piece, and you can mark them, or you can notice them by, there's something written over here in the left-hand column. So that would be my way of suggesting to actually go through this piece, is focus first on this section, then on maybe this chord section down here, and then work so that you're working these different sections separately so that you can memorize this easily in your head. So as we go on, this is the way the course is going to be organized. We're going to look at the left hand shapes. We're going to look at the right hand separately, and this is the way I would practice it. I would practice just open strings with the right hand, or with just a simple E minor chord, because that's the key, but it could be any chord. Practice the right hand separately, practice the left hand separately, and then we'll put them together. And this is normally the way that we work through pieces anyway, right? We separate into smaller elements and then combine it once we actually know what's going on with the different elements. So that's how we're going to do this. The scales passage, there are a few different fingerings for it's this whole section. There are a couple of different ways of fingering that, and we'll talk about each one. Each one has its own benefits and its own drawbacks. So we'll talk about those. There's 3 different fingerings for that, and I'll recommend one that you can get started with that I think is probably the easiest, and you can then just know that there are other fingerings as well. All right, hope you enjoy this course on Etude 1. It's such a great piece. You can play it for the rest of your life. It can just be in your repertoire and something that you just pull out and practice sometimes when you want to. I've known this for a couple of decades now, and I just, it just phases in and out, and it's just always there in case I want it. And so I wish that same joy for you as well. See you in the next one where we will get started in earnest.